What is happening, people? Welcome back to a very special presentation of Arkham Knight on Nintendo Switch. This is going to be Batgirl Extreme number 2. So, yeah, hopefully you guys are having a fantastic night. I feel great because the Suicide Squad series is finally over. I finished editing the last of the video last night, and I've been diving headlong into Final Fantasy stuff. Like, I watched some of our series of Crisis Core last night, when the Suicide Squad video was processing. I had some problems with the Suicide Squad video, though, because basically what happened was it jammed up, like, part of the time it was rendering. So, to do, like, just behind the scenes for you guys, to do, like, an hour and a half render of, like, you know, a very big, I guess you would call it, like, source file or something like that, like the MP4, and then, you know, add the voiceover and all that other stuff. It could take up to, like, an hour and a half just to render that. Plus, it's going to take an hour to upload. So, around, like, I think it was 4 in the morning, I noticed that there was, like, a corruption error in the video, and I had to re-render it again. So, then I was kind of like, oh, man, I don't want to sit here and babysit it. So, I was rewatching Final Fantasy stuff. I also found some interesting things about the piano minigame that actually is in the Final Fantasy thing. And the minigame is actually pretty impressive, because they've actually incorporated a real piano, or at least like the chords and the notes and all that stuff into the control mechanic. And I actually haven't got a chance to do it yet, but I think Amber might actually be able to play a piece on the piano in the game, because it's like playing a real piano. It's not like having real keys, mind you, but it like has different like chord progression and notes and things like that you could actually literally put together a song. So I've seen YouTubers make a Kingdom Hearts, cover with the Final Fantasy VII game. I've seen The Legend of Zelda and some other stuff. So it's actually pretty impressive what they were able to do. So I don't know. I've seen some weird stuff. I was replying to comments, and I can't help some people. And it pains me to say this, but there are some people that are so blind I can't help them see when regards to the Suicide Squad story. And also, I do have some information for you guys if you even care about this. But there's a false narrative going around by the former jaded employee of Rocksteady, who is no longer with the company, but he's adamantly saying that Sweet Baby Incorporated was not involved when they have 8 writing credits. And also, I've heard from a former Rocksteady person that Sefton and Ian did write the story, but you have to understand that the actual story of the game, like plotting it out, like storyboarding it, they aren't responsible for the cutscene dialogue, the narrative, the banter, the bios, and the audio tapes. What the story, or the main story of the game is what is the concept of the game. What's the whole point of the game? Killing the Justice League. So what Sefton and the other writer did is they charted out what the characters were going to be doing and what was going to happen with multiverse and, you know, all the DLC and stuff like that. The character banter, which was one of the big underlining problems of the game, as well as the cutscene dialogue that was revised, was all Sweet Baby Incorporated. Now, does that technically mean that they were there for the development of the story? No. They were there for revisions. They came in later. They mucked it up later. But they still did it. You can't argue the fact that they didn't work on the game. They have 8 writing credits. That's all the evidence you need. And you don't need 8 or 12 writers to write a game. You only need maybe 2. 1 to write the main story, and then 1 to write all the side stuff, like character interactions, character dialogue and cutscenes, character, like, I guess you would call it banter, but in the Arkham games it would be known as comms chatter, as it was known in Arkham City. So communication chatter between, like, Oracle and Alfred and stuff like that. You don't usually have the main writer do that, although Paul Dini, in actuality, wrote more than just the story for Arkham City. He also handled a lot of the banter between Batman, Alfred, and Oracle, which usually is another person's job. So it is a lie that Sweet Baby didn't do anything to the game. They're trying to deflect. Because Sefton did actually do some writing credits, but they're trying to blame him for the story falling apart, saying, well, you don't like Sefton. They're trying to change the narrative to gaslight you. It's not true. Sefton, Jamie, and one other person were responsible for basically the main plot of the game. Everything else is Sweet Baby. It's a fact. You can tell. You can clearly tell the difference in writing style between Deadshot and Harley, and like the characteristics are completely different. Go back and watch the cutscenes. Some of the cutscenes that you can tell that Sefton was a part of, it's basically like, you know how you could tell the difference between Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder when you saw the Justice League theatrical movie? Like, some things just felt off, like, you know, there was like a tonal difference, and some of the things that they were talking about didn't match up what happened in a previous scene. That's exactly what Sweet Baby did to the game. So there was some really cool stuff that Sefton did with the multiverse and, you know, setting up the main concept. And then when it came to actually fleshing the characters out, making them more diverse, all that other stuff, that was Sweet Baby's fingerprints all over it. That's what they do. What I didn't realize is I thought that it was only 2 women involved. There was 8 people involved with writing credits from Sweet Baby Incorporated over the course of the entire game. Not just the 9 hours that we played of this story. They also handled some DLC stuff, because remember, anything that happens post-game is all going to be Sweet Baby. The main writers of the game are gone. They're not there anymore. Sefton and Jamie left. I think Ian might still be there, but I don't know. I haven't reached out to my source about that. But again, I told you guys before, like, when the Suicide Squad game was first announced that it was going to be delayed, right? And people are like, well, I don't understand why people are concerned about them delaying the game. They're probably working on gameplay stuff. No. No. They had a narrative change, just like with Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights was supposed to come out earlier than when it released. It released in 2022, right? There was several narrative changes that they had to incorporate for DEI stuff. Namely, Tim Drake. Tim Drake and Stephanie Brown were going to be, I won't say a relationship, but Stephanie was going to be introduced in the original Gotham Knights game. So the whole thing with Tim and Bernard was never considered originally for Gotham Knights. When they changed Tim in the comics, they had to update him in Gotham Knights. So that means there had to be delays for the narrative. They had to interject things. Same thing happened with the Suicide Squad. When certain things happened, and, you know, to coincide with Twitter politics, they had to change elements of the game. So we'll never actually know what the original banter was like, if Kevin's, like, death in the game was actually different than what we got with Harley Quinn basically doing a monologue before shooting him. Might have been less dialogue, it might have been sympathetic dialogue, we don't know. All Sefton wrote was Harley Quinn kills Batman. Batman's defeated. So it's basically, you have to think of, like, when somebody writes a story for, like, a movie or a video game, you're basically making, like, an outline. You're charting out, like, a structure of events that's going to happen per chapter. And then you have somebody that comes in and actually fills in the chapter stuff. So you do the main stuff, like, you know, we'll say Batman confronts Joker in the climax of Arkham Asylum. And then you have, like, all the steps that are going to happen. Like, Joker's going to transform, Batman's going to have to try to save Commissioner Gordon. And you write, like, little outlines or little details. And then someone comes in and will flesh out the character interactions. Like, you'll have, like, a script writer. There are 8 or 9 script writer credits for Sweet Baby Incorporated. There are only 3 writer credits for Rocksteady. Okay? So people have a right to be angry, and the Rocksteady employees that are defending the terrible story mechanics of, you know, Suicide Squad, they're trying to be basically a deflector. They're trying to take away any heat from their game that is well justified, because I've seen some people on Twitter say that the character interactions are exactly the same high caliber as Arkham Knight, as Arkham City, as Arkham Asylum. And these people are drunk out of their minds because it's not reality. Like, I have no idea what delusions are going on in their mind, but it's not the same thing. Just like I've heard people say, and I kid you not, I've heard like SJWs on Twitter saying that the Tekken 8 story was just about as good as the Suicide Squad story when there are completely different leagues of writing. One game actually has a very competent and talented writer involved, the one who did Tekken, and then you have 12 writers responsible for the mess that was the Suicide Squad. That's a huge difference. And like I said, I'm not a miracle worker. If you're blind, I can't help you see. You have to see for yourself. But the problem I have with SJWs is you cannot compromise with them because they feel like they did nothing wrong. I've seen Twitter, I've seen Facebook, I've seen the high praise that some people have for the game, like dismissing the fans and mocking them and stuff like that. Those are those type of people. You cannot reason with them. You cannot use logic with them because they believe they did nothing wrong. They believe that any problem that you have with the story, that's a you issue. They think that they handled everything fine, and they feel they updated Batman. They updated the game. You know, they did everything correct. You're the problem because your thought process, or you're red-pilled, or whatever their reason is. You cannot reason with them. You would have more chance reasoning with a brick wall than you would in SJW. That's the reality. So the reason why I don't go out of my way to be nice to them is because there's no point. It's a waste of my time. Like, I can actually go out of my way and educate them in a polite way. They're going to mock me. They're going to gaslight me. They're going to retweet me on Twitter. They don't care. They only care about pushing their agenda. And that's what the Suicide Squad game was. And looking back on it, you know, I've even started recording my Arkham Knight series for my other channel. Like, I already have, like, 2 episodes ready in the barrel to go. I just have to edit them. Because I noticed immediately, within the first 5 minutes, the contrast between the character interactions and the dialogue in Arkham Knight, a 9-year-old game, and the first, like, 10 minutes of the Suicide Squad game. Suicide Squad game, the banter felt like it was written for stupid people, and the banter of, you know, the thugs and Batman and Commissioner Gordon talking on the phone, it felt like it was actually adding to the overall story. It's a completely different thing. You know? I mean, like I said, I can't help people see. If people are blind, you know, they need to go get corrective lenses or they need to open their eyes because I can put the facts in front of you. I can show you the receipts. I can try to talk to you and, you know, preach to you. You have to listen and you have to look for yourself and you have to think about things. You can't just be like, well, you know, you're against this because of this or you're an ist and a phobe and whatever they're going to say. They always try to attack people. Most of the comments that I raised on my channel had to do with people actually attacking me before actually even coming to their point. Like, they have to do it. It's part of their wheelhouse. So, you know, I will never be nice to those people because there's no reason to, because they won't be nice to me. They don't compromise. They don't feel like they've done anything wrong. I saw one person, I was trying to plead with this guy because it seems like he's kind of like right on that line of reason and insanity. And he's saying, you need to be nicer to these people because they won't learn from their mistakes. He doesn't understand that they believe they made no mistakes. And a good core example of this is the Batwoman show. The writers of Batwoman feel like they made an amazing show for Batwoman, and they did the exact same thing that they did in Batwoman on the Gotham Knights TV show. They didn't change. They actually made the writing even worse, and you want to know what happened this time around? They got canceled. Why did they get canceled? Because the writing of the show was terrible, and even people that were their supporters hated the show. They didn't change. They don't change. They don't like criticism either. They feel criticism is harassment. So how... explain to me how I can actually, like, sit at the table, so to speak, and talk to these people like they're adults. Most of them act like children. I can't. So I don't bother with it. Where are we? We're in what's the name of this map again? This is called Psychiatricks. And I'm just going out on a limb here, but there are two different types of people that worked at Rocksteady, okay? There were sane people and there were SJWs. So the people that are defending the game and trying to blame and throw Sefton under the bus, saying the story was written by Sefton, that's correct in a sense, but they are ignoring and omitting details about what Sweet Baby's involvement has been since 2022. Because they came in after the story was written, right? So who are you going to believe? You're going to believe people that have a based opinion that actually side with those political views? Or are you going to find like a neutral third party that worked at Rocksteady and hear what they had to say? Like just the facts. Yes, Sefton did the story, but he didn't do the character banter, or he didn't do the dialogue. He didn't do the comms. He didn't do the banter. He didn't do the bios. He didn't do the audio tapes. You know? Or are you going to listen to like one representative that aligns with their beliefs and is totally fine with what Sweet Baby does? Like, who is like the more practical person to listen to? You know, it really feels like they're clapping down on people to try to get rid of people knowing the truth. That's what this all looks like to me. It looks like a psyops thing. Yeah, that's what I see it as. I see it as like they're trying to basically, there are some really big high-profile YouTubers that they're going after. I'm a small fish. So they don't care about me. But they're going after people that are getting more views that are talking about Sweet Baby because they don't want you to know about that company. Like, we have bigger high-profile YouTubers that are making videos, and Sweet Baby's getting some heat. As well as more people are understanding, like, what actually happens when you write a video game. There's a lot more to it than that. There are several aspects of the writing in a video game. It's more than just the main story or the concept or the plot of the game. You have like character interactions, you've got dialogue, you've got written Easter egg, all kinds of stuff. You know, it's not just like the writer is going to sit there and flesh out every single character or you know, expand their dialogue and all this other stuff. That's not their job. Their job is to tell you what the plot of the game is, kill the Justice League, take down Brainiac, go to Elseworlds, rescue Lex Luthor, you know, that kind of stuff. And then everybody else, like the script writers come in and they, you know, they fill out stuff. They fill in the gaps, so to speak. So they're trying to basically gaslight you. That's what's happening. And what's funny is anybody that questions them, they're like, well, now their main argument is, well, Sweet Baby had no involvement. So they're lying about the 8 writers that are attached to the game. So we're just supposed to ignore that. I'm really tempted to be like, okay, so Dell is saying this, but why are there 8 writers attached to this? Like, and why on their website did they say they did the bios, audio tapes, they did the character banter, they did the narrative? I mean, so we're just supposed to believe that they're making it up? Why would they be credited in the game? You know? Like I said before, I thought it was just a few people involved. It's almost like half of the Sweet Baby Incorporated that worked on that game. And that's not something that we should be like, hold on a second, we need to call this out. You know? But that's all I'm saying. But you cannot reason with these people. It's impossible. You'll go crazy. Because they don't believe they did anything wrong. They don't. And it's not like constructive criticism to an author being like, hey, you know, I didn't like this bit of your story. Like, people criticized elements of Paul Dini's Arkham Asylum story. Did you know that? People did not like Joker Bane. And so what did he do in the next game? He kind of teased people by bringing Solomon Grundy in, but it wasn't the same thing as a classic iconic character transforming into like a monster. He literally brought a monster or creature into the game. So that's Paul Dini listening to fan criticism, but still incorporating that whole, like, you know, giant brute monster for a boss fight. And it was a nice little Easter egg to a bigger, broader DC universe as well, wasn't it? You had Solomon Grundy come in, big, you know, zombie monster. Batman could cut loose. It was a cool boss fight. Did Solomon Grundy add much to the story? No, but it was still like a giant mutated boss video game character that was included. Plus, Paul Dini got to flesh out, you know, more of the Arkhamverse a little bit. I was devastated when I learned that Paul wouldn't do the Arkham Knight game because, you know, Sefton was responsible for the Arkham City Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC. He wrote that. And Sefton you know, as much as I like the guy, I've said this before, he is not a amazing writer. He's not as bad as the writers in the Suicide Squad game, but he doesn't have that same connectiveness, I guess you would say, as like some of the other writers. Like Paul Dini, when he wrote something out, he would connect it. Like when Sefton Hill would write something, it was like multiple paths branching out that eventually connect. When Dini wrote something, it was so well done. It was so well orchestrated. You know, it's the difference between you have a conductor come in, right, for an orchestra. I'm going to use a musical term for you guys. So you have a conductor come in, right? He's a well-renowned orchestra leader. He really knows how to get the crowd going, and he's very good at what he does. For whatever reason, the conductor gets sick. And then you have the stand-in guy come, who doesn't practice very much. He has talent, but he doesn't know how to utilize it very much. So there's a big fan base here to see the either the opera or the orchestra in action, right? And you have this conductor that he's familiar with the material. He's the understudy of the guy, but he doesn't quite have that same talent as a conductor. And so he conducts, but the music doesn't sound quite the same. It has a similar feel to it, and if you're not a musician, then you don't see a lot of the problems. You're just kind of like, oh, okay, you know, it still sounds good. But was it as good as with the original conductor? No, because the other conductor's going all over the place and flailing their arms, and the orchestra's trying to keep up, and sometimes they're playing too fast, sometimes they're playing too slow, or sometimes during the crescendos, they're too light. You know, it's just, it's good, but it could have been better. That's what Sefton Hill is. So what Sefton Hill did now with the Suicide Squad game is he passed the baton to several different conductors, and they're going all over the place, flailing their arms around like psychopaths. And the music is just going blah, 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 blah. And sometimes the music's all nice and da 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 da, then suddenly goes da 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 da. That's the difference.
I'm retiring.
Does that make sense? That's the most intelligent way I can describe it. That's what it is. It's like you have so many different conductors that have their own style and they don't know what to do. Or, you know, of course, another popular phrase is too many cooks in the kitchen. Take down all the enemies with silent takedowns. Perform a backclaw disarm. Complete a challenge in under 2 minutes. How in the world are you supposed to perform a silent takedown if you do a backclaw disarm? That's what I want to know. So we'll worry about that at the end. What we'll do is we're going to do a silent takedown on most of these guys. Do we have any detective vision? We do. Okay, great.
Maybe this thing actually works. I'm trying to lock onto
All right, here we go. Yada-dee, da-da-da-da. You're done. Now the question is, do these guys all have, like, transmitters on them?
Everybody, stay sharp.
Everyone stay sharp. Stay sharp, make good decisions. And, sorry, headphone users. I get pretty, pretty intense with things.
Oh, God, no.
But I hope I explained it to the point where you can kind of understand.
Over here. You need to wake up.
Wake up, wake up. Gotcha. Tag, you're it. Now, aren't there silent takedowns that you can do this? So now we've got, what, 4 guys left?
There's no sign of a struggle. Someone snuck up on him. It was
I forgot the medic?
Get back in the fight.
Oh no!
Busy here. Hey, what happened to you?
Hi, baby.
Out of my way.
I don't even play an orchestra instrument, but my wife used to be an orchestra, so.
Wake up.
She was a second chair violinist, which is pretty good. She could have been first chair, but she didn't want to compete with some of the crazier people. No, well, I mean, that's my retelling of it. I know you're a lot nicer, but it's pretty heated to be first chair or anything. So, I think Amber would have been capable to be first chair, but I don't think she had the the intensity to go after the other chairs, like Mortal Kombat.
Next I couldn't breathe and just passed out. You're fine. Get going. We're in the middle of something here.
Challenge accepted. Duel. Dun 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 dun.
You got. That's a page 1 of the manual move. Buddy up. Work in pairs to stop him.
Not a problem.
No, it's okay.
Doc, help this guy. He's down.
Love you too.
What's your location? Over here.
Stupid medic bringing everybody back to life. Save me. Save me from the nothing I become. Wake me up inside.
Can you hear me?
Bye-bye. Uh-oh. Gotta take down the medic. Yup. Oh no! Ah! I'm being shot! Leave me alone!
Target's moving. I need help here. Spread out. I'm gonna check for casualties.
But yeah, just so you guys have a happier life, there's some people that you cannot get along with because they don't want to get along with you. Did I get seen? Is that what happened? I'm not allowed to be seen? Oh, I have to do it in 2 minutes without being what? Oh, okay, let's try this again. I think I could do this. Never took K-Wing for being an Evanescence fan. It was on all the time, Daniel. In the 2000s, I would hear it like, wake me up, you know, driving down the highway in Chicago. The song would go on. Dun, 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 dun. And then it, like, you would just happen to hit the accelerator and go 90, like, through Chicago. Because the song would just be like, yeah! I used to listen to a lot of songs in the 2000s. Because, you know, I was out in the sector, so I would hear that type of music. I also worked at a radio station. One of the most requested songs was the Evanescence "Wake Me Up," I think was the name of the song. So I ended up playing it a lot. Mr. T had a Super Bowl commercial? Aww. Skechers.
I've been to war zones tonight.
Skechers. Skechers is a shoe company, isn't it? Okay. Also, I've had that song stuck in my head today, so... Oops.
We need eyes on target now. Okay, we lost her. Search slow and careful now.
Wait, you saw me?
Grenade!
Yeah, this is a hard map to do.
You need to wake up. I'm coming for you, Craig.
How in the world am I supposed to do this?
Okay, we lost her. Search slow and
Oh, wait, I know. Wait, no, this is not gonna work.
Down. Got a signal. Surveillance traces everywhere. Trying to locate Orange.
Huh? Why are you not...
Whoa!
I don't get how to do the silent takedowns for this. In under 2 minutes? How?
Grenade! Grenade!
Oh, it was close.
What's that? Doc, help this guy. He's down. Over here.
Oh, I was so close! Oh, wow, okay. I was so freaking close. So close, yet so far.
Wonder where I'd be now if you hadn't found me.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just the problem I have. It's like, a good writer, a good developer, someone that, you know, their mind isn't completely gone with crazy. They actually listen to constructive criticism, as well as, like, their next game, if they made mistakes, they improve on them. Like, they try to fix things, right? They try to meet people halfway and been like, well, fans didn't like this. Like, you know, Paul Dini heard the complaints about Joker, Bane, Batman. Did Joker, Bane, Batman come back in Arkham City? No. You know? That's the type of thing. It's like, they don't admit when they're wrong, nor do they see anything they've done as, like, a problem. The problem for them is with fans. And you can't reason with those people. You know? I hate to say it like that, but there's just some people that you cannot, you know, do diplomacy with. Because they're not willing to compromise, and, you know, you can't waste your energy talking to these people because there's no point. I hate to say it, but it's true. There's no point to it. They'll never change. Because they don't believe they need to change. They believe you need to change. So, how do you know, work with that? You can't. At least I don't think so.
I've been to war zones nicer than this city.
Is that guy gonna turn around? Don't turn around. Don't turn around. Alright, we're getting somewhere.
Maybe this thing actually works. I'm trying to lock onto a signal. Report in. Signal's gone, damn it.
Alright, so we're 40 seconds in. 40 seconds in.
We got radio silence. Someone down. Flip the room.
Not! What? That didn't work. Well, I almost did it.
You've got a man down from before. Watch my back. Good idea. Come on, buddy. Wake up.
No, 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 no! Okay.
I've got a signal. Surveillance traces everywhere. Try to locate origin.
Oh, shoot.
I've lost the signal.
Great. Failed again. Wah! Suicide Squad is Fortnite. Thank you, Just22. Appreciate that.
This is better than my last posting.
Simulation activated.
We're gonna get John and Hal. Yeah, I know. More and more stuff keeps coming about Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's a shame that.
I've been to war.
Wonder where I'd be now. Report in, all of you.
Roger. Copy. Copy that.
We got
Oh, great. An error. Why won't it let me take down when they're...
No. Where are you? Where's my cover? Can you hear me? There's no sign of a struggle. Someone snuck up on him.
Might be able to pull this off.
I'm gonna check on this guy.
Poor guy.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This is ridiculous. Oh, I don't like this. Almost, almost. What happened was I got stuck in the wall, though, and the dude saw me. I had a pretty good run going, too, for like a brief second. A brief second. Yeah, but, just to, like, other than just, like, showing you guys what good writing is like in my first episode of Arkham Knight, I don't really talk about the Suicide Squad. I just kind of enjoy the game. The Arkham stuff, playing as the Battinson skin.
Stay alert, everyone.
Well, that could have been a problem.
When this is over, I'm retiring. Report in, all of you.
Roger. Copy that.
Why?
Where are the others?
Man down!
Oh, that was supposed to be a silent takedown. Why did she do a takedown? Oh!
Everybody stay sharp.
Why did you do a takedown? I had him! I freaking had him! Ah! Mean!
Stay alert, everyone.
Why are you not climbing on top? My freaking gosh.
When this is over, I'm retiring.
Report in, all of you.
Roger. Copy. Copy that.
Where are the others? You got men down out there. Check blast out locations.
Huh? What just happened? She did a takedown! It said silent! It said silent!
better than my last.
How was that silent? That was like the opposite of silent. What?
Simulation activated.
I've been to war zones nicer than this city.
No one cares.
Report in, all of you.
Roger. Where are the others?
Find them, now.
Crap! How are you supposed to do this? Gosh darn it! I didn't try to do a knockout smash. It said stealth takedown from the rope. And it went right into a takedown. I didn't try to do that.
Simulation activated.
Oh, too fast. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I think that once you employ the smoke pellet and you do a stealth takedown, it turns into a takedown.
Now, if the Arkham Knight hadn't found me.
I couldn't see any way of taking the medic down, though, without incorporating the, I mean, they only give you 2 minutes to do this. It's kind of impossible.
Simulation activated.
This is better than my last posting.
Report in, all of you.
Roger. Copy that. Where are the others?
Man down.
So you can't take down that many.
Someone confirm sighting now.
Great.
Target's moving. I need help here. Okay, we lost her. Search slow and careful now. On my location.
Call yourselves soldiers? Earn it.
Checking
No, 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 no!
You need to wake up. What's wrong?
How do they expect you to do this without?
Target lost. Spread out and search.
Oh! So you can only take down 5 people until it actually... till Arkham Knight alerts people. So you can't even take them all down because they get alerted. And you can't do...
Nothing we can do for him. We're spread out. Get revenge.
Jeez.
I'm coming for you, freak. Oh God. Need eyes on target now. Somebody find that freak.
Great. Great! My gosh, how do they expect you to do this? Really? 2 minutes? How? How?
Everybody stay sharp.
How do they expect you to do this if you can't prevent them from being alerted? I'm going as fast as I can.
Simulation activated.
Report in, all of you.
Roger. Copy. Copy that. Where are the others?
Find them, now.
It's glitching. It's freaking glitching. What are you doing?
Watch my back, Willie.
It glitched. You like the thumbnail? Thank you, Daniel. I was running out of, there's not that many Arkham Knight Batgirl pictures.
Found me.
Somebody on DeviantArt made that or something. I don't know.
Simulation.
Really wonder when they're going to patch this game, if ever. I don't think they are. But it runs... The frame drops are a big problem when you're trying to do these challenges.
Report in, all of you.
Roger.
That's the best I can do.
Got radio silence. Someone down. Flip the room.
It's not grappling! Excuse me. Sorry.
Something hit you. Somebody find that freak.
Ah! Ugh. I already recorded, I'm working on a playthrough of Arkham Knight on the O1 channel using the Battinson skin the whole game. I don't have any way of doing mods. I would like to get a Steam Deck to do mods for the different Arkham skins that have been added over the years. I would love that. But I don't have the money to do it. Steam Deck's very expensive. It's like $500 or something.
Everybody stay sharp.
Report in, all of you.
Roger.
We've got radio silence. Someone down. Split the room.
See how it gets stuck on the rope? See how she gets stuck on the rope? That's an error with the game. You can't get all 3 stars on the Nintendo Switch version of this game. It's impossible. You can't, especially these blasted time challenges, you can't beat them because you're going to run into performance issues with the game. You just can't. It sucks, but that's reality.
Mission activated.
Wonder where I'd be now if the Arkham Knight hadn't found me.
Sorry, I'm getting a little heated. Getting a little heated. Look at how slow she is to run.
When this is over, I'm retired.
Report in, all of you. Roger. We've got radio silence. Someone down. Split the room.
Where is he? Is this guy gonna be okay? Where? Over here. I've got your back.
Ah! They automatically make you do a takedown in the smoke. You used to be able to do silent takedowns in the smoke. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. So if you drop the smoke bombs, they're going to do a takedown. You can't stop and prevent that. That
Simulation
sucks.
activated.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Look at how staggery she moves. You see that?
Report in, all of you.
She got stuck behind the freaking box.
We've got radio silence. Someone down. Split the room.
She's not grappling. She ain't grappling. For crying out loud, both of you.
What?
Why aren't you dropping your smoke pellets? Don't like this challenge. And she's stuck on the box. Now she's doing her cape stun. Got it. This challenge is stupid. Yeah, see, it says you have to take down all enemies with silent takedowns. I just reset it fast enough, so that's why it didn't count. Like, it was going to pull away my third star as soon as I did a takedown. Good enough. Good enough. Alright, combat time. Let's go. Combat. Combat. Did we do Iceberg Lounge? We're gonna do Iceberg Lounge with Batgirl. Why not? Wait. I thought I did Scales of Justice with Batgirl. Yeah, I did. Alright. Iceberg Lounge. Yeah, I have to wash a ton of dishes. Alright, let's see if we can get Killer Croc. Now, Batgirl doesn't have as much arsenal as Batman, but who knows? Maybe we'll have a good run. Yeah, but it's kind of funny. Like, some of the old fans that became haters, or detractors, or whatever you want to call them, like, they were correct. Back in the day, when I covered all the Arkham games, like Arkham, Asylum, City, Knight, and Origins, I never talked about anything bizarre because it wasn't interjected in the game. So maybe if developers wouldn't include that stuff, it wouldn't get discussed. But they actually throw it into the game because they want you to be conditioned by it. And I'm nobody's idiot, so I'm not going to be brainwashed. I'm not going to bow down to some agenda. I don't do that. Like, if they don't want to be reprimanded and get a lecture from me in my videos, or, you know, other things, I'm going to talk about it. But, you know, people are correct. The only reason I never talked about it is because there was nothing to talk about. It didn't exist. It wasn't a part of the story. Does that make sense? And what I'm devastated by is we'll probably never know what the real character interactions were supposed to be before Sweet Baby got involved. You know, in the late 2022 or whatever. Like, we don't know what they were planning on doing with character banter and character interactions. It probably was pretty tame, or it was like Arkham whatever. It probably would have been, since it was an M-rated game, I expect that probably they were going to add more colorful language and other things. There was barely any swearing in the game at all. It's one of the... Outside of the heads blowing up, I would say the game was just as tame M-rated wise as Arkham Knight was. It really didn't feel like an M-rated game at all. That's what I think. Boink. Shocking, wasn't it? Wait, what did I just hit him with? Oh yeah, I can break weapons and crap, I forgot. Cover me, I need to do stuff. Yeah, you do your stuff. You're going down. Oh, what? What just clobbered me? Who hit me? How dare you hit me? How dare you, sir? Oh, that's right. You can only resurrect people so many times. Ah, that's what's going on. But yeah, I love challenging people's assumptions that the writing has not changed in the Arkham games. Yes, it has. It's like, if you can't tell the difference, you weren't paying attention. And I think some of these people, I think some of the haters are confusing Gotham Knights banter, which did have a lot of DEI stuff, you know? because they had interjected things into it. But Gotham Knights was not Arkham. It did have it, though. Like, they made insanely large females. They had some weird talking points from Batgirl. Not all the time. It was subtle. Suicide Squad was anything but subtle with that stuff. But, you know, it kind of was there. But Arkham Knight didn't have any of it. Arkham City didn't have anything of it. But they don't like talking about those games because those games had some pretty intense things in their, you know, character interactions, because you were inside of a prison. So Rocksteady, back in the day, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but they actually used to research things. Like, Paul Dini, literally, when he wrote the Arkham games and he wrote episodes of the animated series, he was really headlong into psychology. Like, he would actually study real psychological disorders for his recharacterizations of characters like Mr. Freeze and Two-Face. You know, he learned all about split personalities, schizophrenia, all this other stuff. And he incorporated those mental illnesses into revisions of Batman's rogues. And the same thing happened with both Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, although what they did to make the world feel more unique is they really made the player feel like they were in the prison, because the inmates would talk like they were in prison. Shocker, right? But they did their homework, so of course the things that they were going to talk about in jail would probably not be appropriate or make women or other people feel uncomfortable, because that's what happens in jail. Right? They were setting the tone for the game. The game was not this, you know, kind of happy, plucky, go-lucky, you know, T-rated adventure. It was a T-rated game, but it had very mature storytelling. Because their core audience that they were making the game for were fans of Batman the Animated Series that grew up. You know, they became mature adults and they liked more edgy storytelling. It wasn't a T-rated game made for kids. I would argue that some of the content of both Arkham Knight and Arkham City is like just bordering on R rating. It's some pretty intense stuff. Especially if you listen to some of the thug dialogue. And I'm not just talking about, like, you know, doing volatile things to women. Like, literally they talk about, like, murdering family members to get approval from their boss. And they're very descriptive of how they kill people. You know, and the other guys are just like, man, I didn't really have to murder somebody quite like that. It's like, well, did Joker ask you? And they're like, no. But, I mean, they're actually describing horrific crimes. Like, it's just so casual. You know? But the reason why they did that stuff is because they were trying to immerse the player. The thing that Suicide Squad failed at is there was no player immersion. Here you had, what is it, most of the world's population has disappeared because of Brainiac? How often do they actually talk about the repercussions for the invasion? Do you guys remember any? I remember like maybe one or two conversations the entire like 12 hours I played the game where they actually, the squad or Amanda Waller or some of the characters in Argus actually talk about like where do they go from here now that half of Metropolis is destroyed and vaporized. They had all this like great atmosphere for them to build on, and they chose to ignore it to work on stuff that, you know, people talk about on comic book Twitter all the time, which is nonsense. That's the problem. And based on how Sefton wrote stuff, I don't see, you know, that as a part of his story, because he didn't write the character interactions in the game. He couldn't have. They're lying to you. So what you guys need to learn is there's a difference between story writer, script writer, and screenplay. Because those guys all bring different aspects to both a movie, a TV show, and video games to make the story come to life. The person who writes the story is just kind of think of them like a synopsis writer, in a sense. They set the tone for what everything is going to happen and orchestrate, you know, what's going to go on with these characters, how they're going to deal with Brainiac, or, you know, how they're going to kill the Justice League, talk about things like the Tower of Babel. But then it's the script writer's job to fill in the blanks. And then the banter for the characters when they're being played by the player, that's someone else's job to do that. And maybe what Rocksteady should have focused on is actually having people who work at the company, and they're not outsourced by the company, to finalize important key elements of their game, because that's what happened. That's what got all messed up. Whoop. And therein lies the problem. But now they're trying to silence you because you have, like, one ex-Rocksteady employee that's apparently very jaded. And he's going around and he's telling people anybody that has a difference of opinion than him because he worked at the company is wrong. It's like, well, there are ex-people that used to work at the company, too, that are saying Sweet Baby actually did things. So are they wrong? Or just because you're the one who's speaking out publicly, you're the one everybody has to listen to, even though you have a based opinion for Sweet Baby Incorporated? It's like, who are we supposed to believe? A sane person would be like, wait a second, this guy is, you know, just speaking to the echo chamber that likes what was happening with the Suicide Squad and doesn't have a problem with Sweet Baby. He's not actually talking to the people that have proven that Sweet Baby's involved with it. He's just trying to dismiss those people and be like, no. So I guess we have to be very careful with our wording from now on and say things like character banter, character dialogue, character cutscenes, character bios. I mean, technically all that would be quote-unquote part of the story, but if you want to get technical, no, it's part of screenwriting. But it's all pretty much the same thing, because technically a story is supposed to further the plot, and all the little intricate things about the cast and the NPCs, all of that is supposed to be quote-unquote part of the story. And I only took like a basic writing thing in college, so I mean, it's not like I'm a writer, but I understand like some type of structure that needs to be involved when writing, as well as, you know, what roles people have in video games and movies and TV shows. Whoop. Yoink. Hello. Because what people have to remember, what Sweet Baby's job is, their mantra is basically creating stuff for modern audiences. So I believe Sefton and Rocksteady actually already wrote some aspects of how they wanted the character banter to go, and then Sweet Baby came in and they changed everything because they had to make sure it was more inclusive and whatever else. Whoop. Yoink. But it feels like they really had like some type of axe to grind against Batman in particular. It would take me a long time, but I could compile receipts showing throughout the story, or rather the game, how there are NPC characters mocking Batman. You had the character Hack basically saying things like, oh, it's kind of messed up that Batman would stalk people, and then another character would interject something. And then, like, when he's on the gurney and stuff like that, and they're making fun of him, and all the other stuff, when he's talking to the Suicide Squad and taunting them, and the stupid stuff he says. It was kind of continuous throughout the game. Like, whoever wrote that stuff definitely didn't like the Arkham Batman, because he was the last strong, masculine video game character that they just kind of wanted to pull down. Because they do not like... They don't have a problem with weak males, but they have a problem with strong, male, powerful figures, and they have to destroy them. Just like what happened to Joel in The Last of Us. He was a very strong, compassionate man, and, you know, I wouldn't say powerful, but powerful in the sense that he was the main protagonist. So they had to do everything they could to strip Joel of that power and place it somewhere else. So they did the same thing to Batman in the Suicide Squad, is they replaced Batman essentially with Harley Quinn. More or less. The stronger character killed the weaker one. And their symbolizing of weak is Batman just sitting on the bench, and literally you can, if you go back and watch the scene, check out how there's a time where Batman is, like, I wouldn't say succumbing to his injuries, but he's not having a great day sitting on the bench, and he's falling over several times. They actually have to push him back up to sit him up so he can talk to Harley Quinn, because he's, like, kind of on the verge of passing out, probably from loss of blood. That'd be my guess. So, I mean, there's little details that you can actually pay attention to and see for yourself. That it was anything but, like, kind of, I wouldn't say a character assassination, but it was definitely like, we want to prove that Arkham Batman was always toxic. And here's the thing. What happened when Arkham Batman died? You had all these journalist articles pop up saying the toxicity of Arkham Knight and how Arkham Knight is such an outdated concept and how women were depicted. It's like, it all feels like it was kind of like, I don't want to see the conspiracy in this, but it's all very interesting how these games pop up, and then the game journalists follow suit with, like, what they're being conditioned in the games to talk about. Like, they make all these weird articles, like, attacking the old games. Like, right to coincide with the release of the new one. Because, like, they play the Suicide Squad, and they're like, you know what? Playing the Suicide Squad made me think about this, and they go back and they look at these older games, and then they judge those older games with today's standards and their ideology, and it's just like, it becomes like these attack articles. It's wild, but that's what they do. Yeah, they did the same thing in Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I know. Yep. But you know that our side is winning when they have to say things like, any type of criticism's harassment. Like, that's how you know you're winning the argument. That's how you know your side is winning common sense, is because they're trying to silence your opinion. And, you know, they call you all kinds of things, and then they label you misinformation or whatever else. Whatever buzzwords they want to use. But they're basically trying to, you know, discredit you and take you out of the picture. My Deadshot lore video on Wednesday, I have three chapters in my video. The first chapter is I tell you guys how the Deadshot lore should have happened. I talk about basically switching places between Deadshots. So how I did it in my my like 5-minute retelling of the entire game, or like the how Arkham or whatever, I do the Deadshot imprisonment 3 years after Batman has disappeared from Gotham, and incorporate Green Lantern, John Stewart on patrol in Sector 2814. And basically, I have like a altercation between Deadshot, like the Arkham Deadshot, and Green Lantern. And when Green Lantern shoots his power ring, and you know he's exchanging fire with our Deadshot, the real one, basically it creates a temporal anomaly. Because what happened at the same time on Earth 2 is Black Deadshot is in a firefight between Batman, who was not, you know, taken out of his universe, and Hal Jordan, because, you know, they mentioned Hal Jordan in Earth 2, so I incorporated that. And when both characters are hit at the same time, it creates like a temporal anomaly, and they switch places. And so both Earth 2 and Earth 1, or Arkham Earth, now have two different Deadshots on their, you know, planes of existence. And that's how I explained it. And then I ended my lore with, like my version of it, with Amanda Waller coming into the GCPD and talking with Lieutenant Aaron Cash. So I made Aaron Cash a lieutenant, because he's a captain in Arkham, and I figure, or an Arkham Knight. I figure after the events of, you know, Commissioner Gordon retiring, that the next person in line to probably get a promotion at the GCPD would be Aaron Cash. So I made Aaron Cash a lieutenant, which is one step below being a commissioner. Anyway, so I have them sitting down and chatting, and he's humoring this guy who says he's Deadshot, right? And he goes and gets his coffee. He has a DNA testing, because this guy is just like acting crazy, and he's like throwing things, saying he's the real Deadshot. Because, I mean, he is. He's just a Deadshot from another reality. Nobody knows. So they do the DNA test. It comes out that he really is Floyd. And then, you know, Aaron Cash hears his side of the story, what happened. And I admit, I borrowed some elements from the Suicide Squad with the first movie, where Floyd and his daughter are out in Gotham shopping. I just change it up a little bit to tug on people's heartstrings that it's Zoe's birthday. So Deadshot and Zoe are hanging out, and they're walking, you know, on the streets of Gotham, and Floyd promised to take time off, you know, from any hits. And unfortunately for him, he gets a call, like, on his daughter's birthday, that, you know, a hit has to come through because there's some person about to turn stoolie on the mob. So he apologizes to Zoe. Zoe gets really angry with him because he promised he wasn't going to do anything on her birthday. And, you know, he says, some things are more important. And she says, more important than family? You know? Because in the game, they even talk about, like, how he actually used his reputation over that of his daughter. Like, he put his daughter in danger for, you know, his street cred. So I have Batman, like Ben Affleck, confront Deadshot after the kill. And they have a chase sequence, but for whatever reason, Deadshot is able to avoid Batman, and then out of nowhere comes Hal Jordan, because the Justice League exists in the Earth 2 universe. And Hal Jordan, being the cocky guy he is, I based him after the New 52 animated universe Hal Jordan, which you guys probably remember him from the Justice League War universe or whatever. So he doesn't even tell Deadshot he's going to shoot him, and he shoots him with like this green energy, and he creates that temporal thing. So how the temporal anomaly happens is both Deadshots are shot at the same time by a Green Lantern simultaneously, and it causes them to phase out. Isn't that an interesting story, though? And then I end my thing with Amanda Waller after the guy tells his story. Is like she comes in and she says, "So your name's Deadshot. I don't know who. I know Deadshot, and you're no Deadshot." And then she throws him into solitary confinement, and that's how I end it. And then I play the audio tape so people can hear the Sweet Baby version of it, which is terrible. And then I talk about how, well, there's actually another way you could have done it. I say, what about Will Evans? The guy who's basically designed after Will Smith, who was the apprentice of Deadshot. Instead of, like, basically dumping all over the lore of Deadshot and calling him a fake or imposter or an alternate Earth Deadshot, like the OG Arkham one, you could have just had him die during the invasion. Don't you see all those people that are turned to ash all over Metropolis and all over the world? And who's to say that there wouldn't be casualties in the Arkham universe for characters like Deadshot or maybe Bane or whoever? You know, there will be casualties. Not every character's going to have plot armor, right? So, in my other version, I said that pretty much Floyd died, and his successor, Will, takes over, but takes the name Floyd, pretty much. And that's another way they could have done it tastefully, while still incorporating, you know, obviously the DEI character they wanted, but still making it so that they did service to the original character that, you know, they were doing, because Will has also held the moniker of Deadshot. And keep in mind, I'm not a writer, and I feel like that's a better telling of, you know, showing respect to the Arkham character that came before him, as well as introducing the new character, making his story interesting. Either the temporal anomaly, or the fact that he just replaced the Deadshot who died during the invasion. I think either one of those would be, you know, no one would have any complaints about that. Right? You would think so. Maybe people would like Deadshot to be like, why'd you kill Floyd? Be like, well, I mean, that's what happens during an alien invasion, you know. Humans don't have the ability to hold off on having their DNA, like, destroyed on a molecular level, turned to sand. You know? But that's how I would have done it. And like I said, I don't have, like, any... Other than my journalist stuff, I've never written any published piece or anything like that. No comic book, no video game synopsis, anything like that. But the thing is, I pay attention to all these different Arkham characters, so I think that I actually could write something pretty decent. Not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I do a way better job than Sweet Baby Incorporated. Even Sefton Hill. Probably. Whoop. Yoink. There you go. So anyway, that video will be posting on Wednesday. I don't have a name for the series, though. I thought about calling it Suicide Squad Wednesdays, but I really don't. So I think it's just part of Arkham Wednesdays. I don't know. But it's a fun video. Ow. Oh, wow. We got to do this again, because I lost pretty badly. You guys agree with my take, or you think that makes sense?
Your face will be dust.
Whoop.
Could you like a pig?
Thank you guys, appreciate that. Now the reason I did that though is because I feel like making the original Deadshot that was supposed to be grounded in reality. Like, you guys know how Paul Dini writes stuff. He doesn't really like to do fantastical magic adventures and, you know, supernatural stuff. He likes to stay with the human condition and how these characters interact with this world where there's no superpowered beings. So, Paul Dini never had in mind that these R-rated versions of the animated series characters or Bruce Timm characters would have all these fantastical abilities other than the Lazarus Pit. And even then, it feels like Paul Dini's version of the Lazarus Pit was different. It was not this big grandiose thing. It was basically like this small little pool in a sewer. You know, it wasn't like this massive supernatural pit with like ghosts flying out of it and stuff like that. He was going with a more realistic thing. It was kind of like this liquid that you drank rather than this thing you bathe in. You know, it was a little bit different. Kind of like The Last Crusade in Indiana Jones. It was, you drank the waters. That's what made you live, usually. But you also had to incorporate the chalice, because if you didn't drink from the right cup, then God would strike you down. That kind of thing. But it wasn't like this thing where you have to bathe in the water or whatever. So that was like a more grounded approach. So for me, when I went about my thing, it was like, yeah, I'm going to incorporate the temporal anomaly thing because I think it would be kind of cool. And who knows what would happen if two Green Lanterns on two different Earths at the same time zap two different types of green energy at the same person at the same point in time. Like, literally, if it was like an animated thing, I would have Black Deadshot and White Deadshot standing in the exact same place on their Earth when the Green Lanterns hit them with the energy, and it would cause like some type of like tear in time and space, and they'd just kind of pop in there, you know? Just switch places. Whoop! But I think the best one, personally, is the one where Floyd died during the invasion, and then just have another Deadshot appear and take over from him. Well, because, I mean, alien invasions change everything. But I feel that it's mean-spirited to say that someone who's actually a better writer, like Paul Dini, and, like, you know, punch down on his creation and call him an imposter and fake and all this other stuff when he was trying to give us a more deadly and grounded version of Deadshot than we've seen, right? In the Arkham games, like Arkham City, and then when Arkham Origins did him, they just kind of did the same thing that Paul Dini did, but just not as much. Dini just kind of threw the character in briefly. He wasn't really like a big part of the game. And neither was Arkham Origins Deadshot. He didn't really have that huge of a role to play either, other than that really awesome cutscene he was a part of. Whoop. Yoink. Yep, the Lazarus Pit was basically like a small little pool. It wasn't like this massive lake or anything like that. It had very few supernatural elements. It just kind of looked like it was sewer water. And you drank from a chalice. You could bathe in it, but for the most part, the ritual involved drinking, you know, drinking from the cup. Ow. Yeah. But, I mean, I really wish I knew why Sefton didn't allow Paul Dini back. I think probably because he just didn't... He had a completely different vision for where he wanted to take the series than where Paul Dini would. I've been doing some digging, and I think the direction that Paul Dini wanted to go with a sequel, if they ever made one, was Hush. I think he wanted to do the Bruce Wayne Fugitive or Bruce Wayne Wanted storyline. And Sefton and company wanted to do something different with Batman. They wanted to bring back the Scarecrow. Because I think they weren't really going to do much with the Scarecrow in the third game. Like, if Dini was involved. It really feels like if you go back and you read, or not read, if you go back and you play the story of Arkham Knight, it really seems like the big thing that they were setting up was Hush. And Batman would go after him another time. and Hush had all these extravagant plans to take Bruce Wayne down that Sefton just kind of added as a footnote. Like, it feels like he really wanted to do the whole Bruce Wayne wanted thing. Something involving Hush and maybe bringing Jason back, who knows. I guess we'll never know. Oops. Did I fail again? I failed again. Oh, his Hush story from Detective Comics? I forgot about that. Yeah, that's where it seems he was going.
Simulation complete.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Alright, how are we doing? Okay, guys, 916 views for today's Ace Attorney, 910 views for Final Fantasy. So Final Fantasy needs 100 views, 80 views, 80 views. Final Fantasy just needs 80 views for the next episode. Phoenix Wright needs 86. So you guys are really close. Which is good because I have stuff to do, so it's good for me to know what actually is happening. Thank you, Droggle. Yeah, I hope you guys all will rewatch what's happening. I'm gonna set up the Final Fantasy stream though because I think the Final Fantasy stream is closer to the Ace Attorney. I don't know how to put on the thumbnail for Part 8 though. We're on Chapter 9, so... Yeah, Droggle will need help, guys. So the 99 of you guys watching, if you're able to, as soon as the stream ends, watch like 5 minutes of Ace Attorney or 5 minutes of Final Fantasy, we can guarantee that there's another episode of Final Fantasy tomorrow. It only needs 100 views. And it'll hit, I'd love it to hit like 1,000 views before 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning. That would be a big help to me. Well, yeah, I mean, if they were going to do... If Paul Dini really was going to do the Hush storyline, it probably would have led to Jason. But he wasn't going to bring the Joker back. Joker was gone. But, I mean, we don't know what was originally... There's so many rumors about what the real thing with the Joker was supposed to be. Rocksteady wanted Joker dead in Arkham City, and... you know, Paul Dini was trying to create after Arkham Asylum, I guess he was actually trying to create like a franchise like Assassin's Creed. So I don't think he wanted Talia to die because he already planted the seed, literally, that after the night in Metropolis, Bruce could just call. So Damian was probably already conceived in Talia's belly. And it feels like, I was rewatching stuff, and it looks like Joker actually shoots Talia through her belly. Like, from behind. It doesn't look like he shoots her in the heart. Looks like, you know, he shoots her, like, right in the back. And, you know, to me, that, knowing the drama behind the scenes with Dini and Sefton, that kind of looks like that was literally stabbing Dini in the back. Because he wanted Talia to bring Damian into the picture. And with her gone, I mean, they have to keep using Bruce Wayne, and then... Joker dying and all this other stuff. It feels like I really want to know what the full synopsis of a third game by Dini was going to be, and if he was really building toward like a Damian Wayne game. Or at least having Damian be born and then killing Talia in a later game or something. Who knows? But like I said, we'll probably never know. We'll never know. The writer works for the devs, so even if Dini had a certain thing involved, the devs already had their plan. Okay. The writer is just the writer. Yeah, what you say makes sense. What type of role did Eidos have in Arkham Asylum, though? Because the gameplay mechanic for Arkham Asylum was different than Arkham City. Like, Arkham Asylum felt like a horror game. And it felt like, not necessarily like a full Rocksteady game. Because it was like Rocksteady and Eidos. It had like a different vibe to it. Because both Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and Arkham Knight, they all feel like the gameplay is similar. You can tell that the gameplay branches off from Asylum, but it definitely changed a lot for City and Origins and Knight. And it didn't really have as much horror elements as Asylum did. Asylum felt like one of those like early 2000s like spooky game. We already did Crime Alley? I haven't done Crime Alley? Wait. I already have 3 stars for that, don't I? Yeah, we're doing the theater. Well, I mean, if you picture Sefton Hill as, like, the guy who kind of, like, had his storyboard in mind for where he wanted his plot things to go, like, I think Sefton is really good at creating a chain of events, but I don't think he's very good at making those events feel cohesive. Like, there are elements of Arkham Knight's story that I like, and then there are parts of the story that just feel weird. And they don't really flow together. It's Arkham City had like a natural feeling to the story. It didn't feel like, you know, everything kind of like worked. It meshed well. Arkham Knight, there were parts of it that just didn't make sense. That it's like they were trying to stay to the tone of Arkham City, but they just couldn't quite do it. It was like the body was there, but the soul was missing. So it was still like you were controlling the flesh of the character, but the spirit, like the thing that gave the game its magic, was gone. I still think the story of Arkham Knight is way better than the Suicide Squad, and it's executed much better. And there are great moments in the storytelling, but there's also like really weird stuff. And sometimes I feel like the guy who was responsible for the side quests and like the character banter and the character interactions, it kind of fleshed out the main plot, because the main plot felt like it kind of fumbled every once in a while. So it's like kind of like the character interactions, the banter, some of the other stuff. It just had like a better feeling to it, I guess you could say. It just worked. And then when you combined it and you went back to the main plot of dealing with the Arkham Knight and other things like that, it just felt kind of like, oh, okay, we're back to doing this now. And you just kind of like jump back into it. It was a little jarring at times. Does that make sense? The Switch version better update. I've been waiting for the Switch version update for a while, man. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm struggling a lot with the fact they haven't updated this, because it's really hard to do these challenge maps, because there's a lot of issues with them. There's a lot of issues. The game runs slow, frame rates, weird glitches, command prompts not working properly. It's too much. And the game plays flawlessly on consoles and PC. But the Switch, it's like, you can just tell it's like so floaty and slow. And it's a shame too, because Arkham Knight, you know, heavily improved on the gameplay of its predecessors. What I always wanted is, I wanted a Batman Arkham game with the gameplay of Arkham Knight and the storytelling of Arkham City. Like, that would have been awesome. That would have been, like, the perfect marriage. And Suicide Squad ain't it. Apparently Maxi Zeus was dead, though. Maxi Zeus died, like, before the events of Arkham City or something, I think. Oh yeah, I'm struggling with the combat and the Predator maps on Arkham Knight on Switch because everything just feels... Does everybody remember the game Skate or Die? There was a mode in Skate or Die called Goofy Foot that it made the game feel awkward. So it feels like playing this game on the Switch if you're a pro Arkham player. Not that I'm a pro, but I'm decent. But even I can notice like the difference in the feel of the game when I play this and record footage on PS5. And then I play it on the Switch. Like, it's very noticeable. But playing this game on the Switch with its problems, you can just feel that it doesn't feel right. It's kind of like you're fighting with the controls a little bit. So you have to really pay attention that you don't, like, overdo attacks and stuff like that, because the controller will sense that you're still doing stuff when you're not. So it makes things tricky. But just for fun, I've been playing Predator maps in Arkham Knight on PS5 after completing the Suicide Squad. And then it's because I was playing those challenge maps that I decided that I would just play through the entire game again. Not as a New Game Plus, though, but I literally started over with the Battinson skin. Made a new save file and everything. Fresh. So that my character is not over-leveled or anything like that. Everything makes sense in the context of how it's supposed to be, and I get to, you know, level up as I go. Whoop. Aha! And let me tell you, the tank missions ain't no thing on PS5. I barely get shot. I get shot sometimes, but not as much as I did in the Switch version. I do make fun of the Switch version a little bit, though. So, while I don't talk a lot about the Suicide Squad, I do poke fun at the Switch and, you know, say, like, I can speak about experience because I've played through the entire game on Switch. In fact, I live stream on my other channel playing the Switch version, and it's a world of difference. So, I poke fun at it a little bit. Just so you know. But I hardly talk about the Suicide Squad because it's like... erases a bad memory for me. I think the Suicide Squad game gave me trauma. Because Blackgate gave me trauma. There we go. Alright, let's do another Predator. Yeah, the Titan Joker plot was stupid. I never liked that. I thought Batman and Joker, the first time I played Arkham Asylum, I thought that Batman and Joker were going to have that confrontation similar to The Killing Joke. You remember how Joker was, like, in Alan Moore's book? He had a throne made out of garbage and dolls. So I thought they were going to have some type of battle similar to that. Like, maybe Batman would chase after Joker and confront him that way. The idea of Joker turning into a monster, just... I know what they were doing a throwback to, I just didn't appreciate it. I never liked Joker Bane. So, pretty much, Joker Bane came from the 2004 Batman animated series. The one with Romano, I believe was his name, the Spider-Man video game actor who played Batman. That's where that idea came from. So, they were... You have to remember, Arkham Asylum was a game that was an accumulation of a 70-year tribute for the character. So there were Easter eggs for Batman the Animated Series, there were Easter eggs for Adam West, there was Easter eggs for Neil Adams content, there was Easter eggs for the Hush Run, there were Easter eggs for the Hell on Earth Arkham Asylum stuff. You had Easter eggs for some of the past Batman games. There's a Dark Tomorrow Easter egg, too. There's 2 of them in the Arkham Asylum game. So it has like a smorgasbord of Batman tributes through all types of Batman media for 70 years. And that's what the game was supposed to be. And that's why the lore changes with Arkham City, because, like, all the character bios, characters that hadn't been created yet, like Hush and all this other stuff, they were introduced in Arkham Asylum as they were already, you know, a part of that world, but they weren't incorporated into the story until later. Like, their origins were added in Arkham City and Arkham Knight and stuff like that when they were already introduced in Arkham Asylum. It's because Arkham Asylum was made as a game that was supposed to be a standalone thing. They were just going to make a really cool Batman game instead of a movie licensed or a licensed game. They had no idea that it was going to be successful, because you have to remember, from their point of view, the Batman Begins game that came out in 2005 did okay, especially for a movie tie-in game. It did better than most movie tie-in games at the time, although I would argue the Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson games did way better than Batman Begins. The Two Towers and the Return of the King GameCube, PS2, and Xbox games were phenomenal. Those were great games. Fellowship of the Ring, not so much, but Two Towers and The Return of the King were great games. Although, good luck streaming those games today, because you'll get hit so hard with copyright because of the music. But, I mean, those games are awesome. They were, like, really well done. Licensed games. Batman Begins did okay. It did better than both Dark Tomorrow and Batman Vengeance and Batman Rise of Sinzu. And, you know, it set the tone really high. But Arkham Asylum was supposed to just be a standalone adventure. And it turned into something more because no one was expecting it to be as well received as possible. It, like, you know, it changed a lot of people's point of view about Batman games. And it kind of gave birth to the type of action-adventure stealth games we have today. Because it borrowed nooks and crannies from different stealth and action games and kind of just smushed them together into one package. You have elements from Resident Evil. You have elements from Assassin's Creed. You've got elements from Silent Hill. You've got elements from Metal Gear. You know? It's just... It combines so many aspects, as well as it has rudimental gameplay from both Batman Vengeance and Batman Begins. If you really go back and you play Batman Vengeance and Batman Begins, it incorporates some of those gameplay and combo mechanics into Batman's free-flow combat, as well as some of the stealth stuff. Yeah. So, all those games had significance to the creation of Arkham Asylum, even Dark Tomorrow.
What's the status on the drone?
But a lot of Batman Begins gameplay mechanics are alive and well in Arkham Asylum. Not so much in Arkham City, but Arkham Asylum. Perform a takedown from above. Take down the air controller while the drone is blinded. Perform a beatdown on the last thug. Oh, this one might be easier. Oh, the Two Towers game was awesome. Dun 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 dun. When you're defending Helm's Deep on, like, the GameCube and all these orcs, I was like, I remember when that game came out, I was so, like, awestruck, because, like, you had all this stuff happening at once, and it's like, how in the world could the GameCube actually handle this game? You saw all these, like, orcs running around in the background, and it felt like you were in Helm's Deep. Like, if you saw the movie and you were, like, in the trenches of that, they did a great job with that. Later on, when Lego actually made the Lego Lord of the Rings game, it was more exciting, but it was still pretty cool. Like, because it's my birthday, I think that I will bust out the Two Towers game, and I will play that. Unfortunately, I won't get to play two-player because my wife is... we're going to be going to New York. So, like, immediately after I'm going to have my birthday stream early because Carlos paid for it. He was very generous. And and because I won't be back until probably very late on Monday, which I think Monday the 19th. Yeah. So I won't be back until very late on Monday the 19th. So I have a treat for you guys. On Sunday, there's going to be Ace Attorney marathon of uploads of the original Ace Attorney series we did as a long play. So it'll have 3 cases that'll probably be about like 4 hours long each. It's not my birthday yet, but we're going to celebrate my birthday on the 17th. Dun, 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 dun. And I think that'd be a great game to play on my birthday, like the first couple hours of the Lord of the Rings Two Towers GameCube game. I think that'd be dope. It's such a cool game. Because it's already been paid for anyway. I can take a copyright hit. As long as I don't get a copyright strike, we're fine. I don't think we're going to get a copyright strike. I'll just have to turn the music down really low. But, I mean, the thing with the Lord of the Rings games, though, is that music, the composition and the score for that game and that movie just really... For me, it made the Lord of the Rings movies more exciting when you had that beautiful cinematic thing. And did you guys notice that most of the Lord of the Rings music also reflected the location they were in? You had, like, Scottish-sounding music, you had Japanese-sounding music, you had, like, folk-y music, you had, like, very, like, extreme brass stuff for the human civilizations and castles, so you had, like, big, broad brass instruments, and then you had like violins for like softer areas like forests, and then you had like really tense music for when they're running away from the orcs. I mean, the music was another character in the films. It made them pop even more, and that's what I feel like the Arkham music did as well. Suicide Squad music is meh, but Arkham City's music, it builds to the tension of the game. And the music style in Arkham Asylum is done as a horror game. So the music is more freaky in Arkham Asylum compared to Arkham City, which is more action-packed and kind of, you know, exploring and adventurous. The Arkham Asylum thing, this is just from a musician's point of view. There's a lot of cello and deeper, like, wood instruments to give it that creepy sound. Like, when you're exploring, like, the Asylum, you have things like da 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 da. That's like a cello thing. It's a very like da 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 da, and they would hold it out, kind of like pull it back, make it kind of creepy. There were sometimes they would do the thing on the violin where you take the strings and you take like the bow and you do things like where it makes like kind of like a razor sound. So there was lots of freaky sounds and music compositions that they used in Asylum that they didn't really bring back for Arkham City. Arkham City almost had like a brand new soundtrack. Almost like going from the Batman Begins soundtrack from the two guys responsible for doing Batman Begins, and then just having what's his name? Crap, I forgot the guy, and I used to make fun of him so much. It'll come to me. Hans Zimmer. There it is. And then you just had Hans Zimmer's solo score of Dark Knight without the guy who actually brought the melody to his songs, his partner from the first one. Oh. No Lord of the Rings on Super Nintendo. Is your picture of dead Jason Todd from Death in the Family? Is that what your picture has been all these years? For some reason, I thought you had Jake the dog as your photo. You really have dead Jason. It's kind of funny. Oh my gosh, there was a really fun GameCube game I used to like. Anybody remember G-Force? It's Jason Todd, but it's not from his death? Really? It looks like it's his death picture. I'll have to go to your channel real quick. It used to give me an option to go to your channel. I don't like that. I used to be able to do that.
This is better than my last posting.
Okay, guys. Final Fantasy is currently at 940 views. Ace Attorney is at 930. Not bad, not bad. We're getting there. We're getting there. No, 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 not G-Force the anime. No, 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 no. There was a GameCube game called G-Force, and it was almost kind of like a Pokemon type game, sort of. You had like these characters that would battle in the third dimension. It's a very rare GameCube game. If you can find it, it resells for like $500. The game wasn't terrible, but it wasn't well received in America. It was basically like Custom Robo, but better. And I really used to like playing that game. In fact, after my car accident, there were like 3 games that I played that helped with my recovery and helped me to heal like mentally because I had brain damage. Tales of Symphonia, G-Force, and there was one other game. I think it was Metal Gear. I don't remember. I have to look at the games from 2004, 2005. Because, oh crap.
I've been to war zones nicer than this city.
He's been to nicer war zones, guys. Where'd the medic go? Where'd you go, medic? Oh, there he is. Huh? Oh snap, where did you come from? Perform a takedown from above, take down enemy drone controller while blinded, perform a beatdown of the last thug. I can still pull this off. Whoa, he bounced! Oh, maybe I can't pull this off, because back roll.
What the hell was that?
It's a Batgirl. Ah! Daniel, if you made the hypothetical decision to kill Nightwing, I would write you hate email for the rest of my life. No lie. Because I know you deliberately did it just to irritate me. You would become my nemesis, my friend. Could you kill Tim Drake instead? He's not the same anymore. He's a completely different character. Just take care of Tim for me. Make it look like an accident. I'm messing, Darkseid. I would congratulate Daniel if he actually became a DC writer, because hopefully he would bring like sanity back to DC Comics. Because we need more K-Wing fans in the world to balance the crazy. Because you guys are grounded, you guys are intelligent, you guys have common sense and morality. You're not crazy SJWs. You are rational, normal, fun, happy people that hopefully you'll rule the world someday. Because need more people like you guys in the world. And that is a fact, Jack. Less crazy people, more sane people. More common sense people. That'd make the world a better place. Uh-oh. I might be able to get away with this. Yaha!
I've been to war zones nicer than this city.
What happened? You were supposed to do a thing!
Over here. I need to patch him up. Give me cover. Where are you?
Here! Away! Wait, what did I do wrong? Perform a takedown from above. Take down the drone controller guy. Perform a beatdown. Oh. Was there any more medics? Oh no, there's another medic! Can't have that!
Someone cover me. I'm checking.
Woohoo!
Cover you. I heard. What was that?
Oh ho! Bye bye. Up, up, and away! Is the drone controller dead? Did I accidentally kill the drone guy? Yay! Drone guy! He's still alive! Woohoo! Look at that! Drone guy still lives. That means I haven't failed yet. I call that progress. If you had the power, you'd regenerate the world like Tales of Symphonia. I apparently hear that an Ultimate is considering bringing back Tales of Symphonia because they know that it's not going to get views anymore. So someone on Patreon might actually resurrect that series. So that might be fun. You're going to work as an independent, Daniel? Good luck, man. Send me your first book. I'd love to read it. I don't really read a lot of Western comics anymore, but I'd give your thing a read. I'd be curious. You're watching the animated series, Darkseid? You can't go wrong with it. So, I mean, Kevin gave us a great gift, though. The animated series can never, ever be ruined. They can't. They can try to make stuff with comic books about the animated series, but you will never have the same animated series ever again because, you know, Kevin is gone, Mr. Freeze is gone, Two-Face is gone, Riddler's still around, Robin's still around, Nightwing is still around, and one of the Batgirls is still around. But most of the principal cast, they've been gone for years. You know, it was over 30 years ago. So it is a show that not only will be timeless, but also to be untainted. So with the craziness of, you know, the world today in the 2020s, they cannot touch it. They can try to make like their new animated series, but it will never be the same. Like the other series will be completely untouchable. Unfortunately, I mean, that's what I thought was going to happen to Arkham. Like the next Batman game they make might be a little crazy, but the Arkham games will always be untainted perfection. And no. But at least take some comfort knowing that they really can't do the animated series. They can make a spiritual successor to it, but they can't continue it. It's pristine, perfect, safe. And it'll always be good too. Every time you watch it, you'll always find something that you might not have noticed your first time watching it. You might have a character that you like notice, like a background character that is well written than most, main characters today. Like, I mean, that was like kind of the pinnacle of animation and storytelling. Lightning in a bottle. That's right. You know that Batman the Animated Series haunts poor Bruce Timm. Like, he can't make anything better than Batman the Animated Series. That he's just given up.
Check your corners. Check everything.
Take down drone controller. Just say, take him down how? Yay, it worked! Woohoo! Wait. It did 2 in 1? Perform a takedown from above, perform a beatdown.
You okay?
Yatta! Now we just have to do a beatdown and we're good to go. Cool beans. Oh. Oops. Oh, nuts. Aha! Bum, 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 bum. Oops. That wasn't the last thug? Oh, there was 2 more. Oh, did I fail? Did I fail? I don't like failing. I don't think that the 4 idiots... I really feel that...
Get revenge.
Why... How many times was the Suicide Squad delayed? Was it delayed twice? 2022, 2023? And then it finally came out in 2024? Wasn't it supposed to originally release in 2022? Yes? Okay. Sweet Baby didn't get involved until near the end of production, so that would have been like late 2022. So that means if the game actually came out in 2022, and it was just, you know, had Sefton and Ian and that one other guy, I think Paul, not Paul Dini, the other Paul. There was another Paul who was a writer. I don't think the Suicide Squad would have been that bad with the story. And it probably wouldn't have been a looter shooter either. It probably was going to be like an online story game or something. I don't know. It feels like when they announced that the game would be live service later on, and they got Sweet Baby involved because they get involved with most Western developers, the longer that a game is in development, the worse Sweet Baby can make the game. Look at Forspoken. Forspoken was delayed so many times that had they actually released it with the original author's intent, the game probably wouldn't have been bad. Because the reason why most people don't play Forspoken is the dialogue is just so cringy. The story is all over the place and it's so bad. But the gameplay is solid. But the main character is so unlikable. And the squad, here's the thing I've noticed about the Suicide Squad game. Maybe you guys can, further my point for me, but have you noticed, like, the actual, like, story elements of the game, not like the character interactions and the banter, but the actual cutscenes, it feels like the Suicide Squad grows as a team, and they become, I wouldn't say nicer to one another, but they have some type of character development. But then when you're in the field with them, and they're doing their character banters, and, you know, their audio tapes and all this other stuff, they feel like there's no growth for the characters over the course of their journey. Like, the story, the main story, it felt like there was actually some type of growth that happened with the characters. There was a character arc.
We need to look out for ourselves.
Report in, all of you. We've got radio silence. Someone down. Clear the room.
Ouch! Sorry.
Simulation complete.
Yeah, Suicide Squad was supposed to come out at the was it the beginning of 2022 or the end of it? All right, Gotham Knights was supposed to come out in the spring of 2022, and Suicide Squad was supposed to come out at the end, or winter of 2022, and then Suicide Squad was supposed to come out at the end or something like that. And then Suicide Squad got moved to 2023, and then the release date of Suicide Squad became Gotham Knights release date. Yeah. Where's Amber? Amber sleeps, Darkseid. I'm the night shift, buddy. Isn't that fitting? I'm the night shift. Yeah, and the whole sports talk. Because I've been assured by former like WB employees that Gotham Knights actually was going to be a decent game. It's just all the delays and the narrative changes and swapping Tim Drake, dropping Stephanie from the story. Like, she didn't have a vital role, mind you, but she was going to get a name drop, and, you know, possibly she was going to show up in Tim's story, or they were going to call on the phone or something. But they had to shoehorn Bernard in, but they don't I don't think they call him Bernard. And the reason why they had to do that is because I remember this, so I can explain this. So when Bernard changed in the comics, the Gotham Knights people were being interviewed, and this was like a while after they had delayed the game. They delayed the game like a month before Tim Drake was changed. And somebody asked them at some type of Twitter chat thing, they said, "Are you going to be incorporating elements from the comics about Tim Drake?" And WB Games Montreal, without a beat, they said, "We are going to be focusing on everything that makes Tim Drake Tim Drake." And when I saw that, I was like, well, now I know why the game's delayed. They're going to change Tim. Well, Stephanie and Tim go together. They're like they're a duo that like work like off each other like so well. You know, they're both independent characters, but they're stronger together. Their dynamic is incredible. Like Chuck Dixon did an amazing job with both of those characters. Not only can they, you know, really work miracles with a good writer when they're solo, but when they're together, not just the chemistry, but the way that the characters interact with each other is so much fun. Bernard is such a flat, broken character that he was just kind of a one-off friendship that Chuck Dixon wrote back in the day. He was never supposed to be like a long-term friend for Tim Drake or in his life. He's not that type of character. Stephanie was a character with substance and quality and humor, and she brought out the best qualities of Tim while not like transforming his entire personality molded after Bernard. Like, he was a character that was independent. Like, he had his own personality, his own character traits. Stephanie just kind of made those character traits like more, we'll say, not bigger. That doesn't make sense. I guess she kind of like not brought attention to. She helped I guess add on to it, because when he would do detective stuff, she would ask him questions and would get him talking more, and he would describe more of the case to her. So it kind of felt like she was the sidekick, like the ride-along character that was helping to, you know, make Tim appear as a more confident character, a very smart character. And it also gave him, just like, you know, Batman and Robin had a character they could bounce dialogue off each other and they made for fun stories. Stephanie was that, like, character that was with Tim that they could exchange dialogue with each other. And then when she became Batgirl and she joined the Birds of Prey books, then you had a whole new dynamic that she infused that fun with other characters around her. Like, she was basically like the sun, and all these characters would kind of, like, you know, orbit around her, and they would become more fun, interesting characters. Because Stephanie brought, like, this jubilation to the DC Universe. And then when they killed her in that horrible way, and then they, you know, killed Tim with aliens and stuff, it's just like both characters have never been the same. Stephanie has never really been a fun character again. Tim hasn't been a fun character for years. And it's a shame, you know? One change ruined two characters completely. Just like that. It was like, you know, one bullet took down two heroes at once. It stinks, but that's what these people do. Fortunately, you can't do anything about it. I don't think I want to do Hand of God, because that'll take too long. Should I try it? I'll do one. I'll try it. Yeah, it didn't make sense why he was able to be a lantern. Yeah, true. And also, did you notice, like, if you're gonna make King Shark a lantern, like, maybe they should have showed him, like, the reason why the shark went out of control. Maybe they should have shown him, like, having problems controlling it. Like, he doesn't have the will to use the ring properly. That's why the ring betrays him. You know? The biggest thing I think that I've noticed with the writing of Suicide Squad is, you know how Batman stumbles and falls and makes mistakes in the Arkham games, which makes the player feel like Batman is a character that, you know, stumbles a little bit and makes mistakes, but still ends up, like, winning the day, so to speak. It felt like the Suicide Squad never stumble, they never make mistakes. They have no battle damage. Their costumes are always perfectly clean. There's no scarring. There's no blood. There's no nothing. They don't ever trip and fall so they can succeed later. What were the major mistakes that Batman made in Arkham Knight? Do you guys remember? One of the biggest mistakes Batman made was his ego. Like, he thought that he could keep Robin safe by locking him up. Like, he was afraid that Robin was going to die, so that he, you know, to put him out of harm's way, he locked him up in the Batcave when, basically, you know, it was very easy for Scarecrow to take Robin hostage. If Batman hadn't done that and let Robin go after Batgirl or, you know, gone somewhere else and dealt with some of the militia people and trusted him, most likely Scarecrow wouldn't have had a trump card against Batman. That was Batman's huge mistake. Batman's other big mistake was letting Oracle stay in Gotham City. Like, she should have evacuated because then they wouldn't have had they wouldn't have another, like, leverage against Batman or Commissioner Gordon. These were all mistakes that Batman made over the course of the game. You know? And he paid for those mistakes, didn't he? Same thing in Arkham City. His temper with Mr. Freeze when he was poisoned, instead of negotiating with Freeze, what did he do? He attacked Mr. Freeze, and Mr. Freeze fought him in self-defense. And what did it cost Batman? There was a big cost for that exchange. What happened? There were two cures in that vault. Mr. Freeze destroyed one because Batman provoked him. Had Batman not done that, then there would have been no consequences. Like, there would have been 2 vials. He also mistreated his allies. He did a lot of things. He made a lot of mistakes. But we saw Batman stumble, and then we saw him persevere and succeed. What did we see happen with the Suicide Squad? Did they have any type of pushback? No. They just steamrolled everything like it was nothing, and that's what SJWs do, is they believe that they can write these characters and make them invincible and give them plot armor because they don't pay attention to the stories of these heroes they don't like. You hear all these things about people calling Batman a toxic character and he's just going around beating up poor people. They don't actually pay attention to the achievements or the accomplishments that Batman does. They only look at what's under the underlining surface. They don't look at the broader picture of why Batman does what he does, which is so that no 8-year-old loses their parents to gun violence or crime. You know, that Batman literally pledges his entire life to stopping crime, and even though he knows it's an unending war, he still devotes himself to it. They don't see that kind of stuff. They only see, you know, billionaire beating up poor people. They only see these weird talking points that didn't really exist prior to Twitter. They don't understand character dynamics. They don't understand character progression. They don't understand, you know, banter that's both fun and significant to the story. None of this stuff registers to them. They play Guardians of the Galaxy and they see the characters joking around and they think that means, oh, we can put jokes in too. But their jokes are all forced humor. Their jokes are just, they don't make any sense. The jokes are so poorly written that it's like painful to listen to because you can tell that they're trying, and the problem is it's not natural. They're trying too hard. And that's why they fail. Is they don't pay attention to the broader picture. It's like they're painting a picture, they're making art, but they leave out so many colors. And then they complain later on, why don't people like my picture? I made it the same way as the previous work of art that, you know, the company I worked for. I followed the exact same pattern. You may have followed the pattern, but you missed the heart. You missed the whole point of it. You're just going through the motions. You're not actually trying to make your own stuff. You're trying to copy what's already been made for you. I would say Batman provoked Freeze. Like, Freeze was, like, telling Batman, you need to go get my wife, and Batman walked toward him. He didn't strike him, but he made Mr. Freeze to the point where Freeze had to retaliate. Like, Batman was basically telling him, hey, you know, I don't have time for this, and, you know, then when Freeze wasn't going to listen to him, Batman's just like, you know what, I'm going toward the vault, and then Mr. Freeze shot the vault. But he was provoked from that. You know? There was a cause and effect. If Batman would have just stood there talking to him and be like, all right, what do you want, Freeze? And Freeze is like, go get my wife. And then Batman should have said yes. And then there wouldn't have been a problem. But Batman, you know, he was very you know, I mean, I can understand he was dying, right? He's sick. The Ra's al Ghul cure thing isn't really working anymore. He was desperate. He wanted the cure. But, I mean, he kind of provoked that whole fight. At least that's how I remember it. Maybe it went a little differently. Feel free to leave in the blanks. I still feel like Mr. Freeze was provoked. He wanted his wife back. Batman said no, and then it led to a fight. Well, yeah, after Batman calms down, he still goes after and gets Freeze's wife. Also, I think part of the reason why Batman was kind of out of character, too, is, or not out of character, he was just a little off. I believe that Paul was trying to tell us that the after effects of the Lazarus Pit drink that he had made him a little bit more aggressive. So maybe that's why he told Freeze, you know, I'm not dealing with this now, so Batman was having some issues. That's what I feel. I'll have to go back and watch it again, but I really feel that Batman provoked the situation. He, you know, Freeze was desperate because he wanted his wife back, and Batman was not having it. Was not open to negotiation. I remember that word being used. And Mr. Freeze just wasn't having it, because also Mr. Freeze... You had two men with two different types of desperation. That's how Dini was writing it. It wasn't like a Mexican standoff or anything, but... It was like two men that both have like a reason for working together, and neither one of them is budging. But I could be wrong. I mean, the game was quite a while ago, and when the cutscenes were playing again, when I covered the games during the Arkham Collection on Switch, I was mostly paying attention to you guys in the chat, so I wasn't really watching the cutscenes play out. I was listening to them a little bit. Oh, no. Ah! I was doing so well. Yeah, feel free to help me out. Daniel, if you remember something I don't, help me out. Because I feel like there was, Freeze got provoked. And it was, two men who were both desperate for two different things. Ow. And it didn't work out. On the first run, because there were two cures. I don't remember why one of the cures was poured out. Because only one cure was left in the vault. One cure was used as a bargaining chip and then used to provoke people. But I don't remember how the whole exchange went. I just know that both men had something that they needed to have happen. Batman needed the cure, Mr. Freeze needed his wife. Mr. Freeze was so upset about Nora and wanted her back from Joker that he wasn't really, you know... Not that Freeze was ever really a good man, in that sense, other than, you know, being a good husband. Didn't really care if the world burned around him. Just wanted Nora back. And have you noticed once Nora's always in his care, he's a much calmer person? Like, without her, it's like, I wouldn't say it's a codependent relationship, but, like, Freeze loves her so much that he's not himself without her around. Like, he's very monstrous with Nora not around. She kind of balances him. Freeze broke one of the cures. Did he break one of the cures during the negotiation, or he broke the cure before the negotiation? So Batman provoked Freeze into breaking the first cure? Yeah, I would just like to understand the setup. Why did Freeze dump the cure first? What happened? Who provoked who? Did Batman say something to Freeze and then Freeze dumped the cure and then Batman retaliated? What happened? Like, give me the setup while I do this, because I can't remember it clearly. I was chatting with you guys when the cutscene played out, so I don't remember it tact for tact. I just remember, like, the rudimentary things, like Batman and Freeze fought, it was over the cure. Batman wasn't really himself, he was very agitated. And Freeze was very scared and angry about Nora being gone. And wanted Batman to get Nora back. And then Batman, after Freeze, and both of them kind of calmed down after, you know, exchanging blows with each other. Batman still goes and gets Nora anyway. If Freeze didn't try to shoot at Batman, then Batman wouldn't have fought Freeze. Yeah, that's true. But I just want to know who did what. Did Freeze... Who initiated it? Because there was definitely someone who provoked somebody to do something. There was a cause and effect. What was the cause? Freeze asked Batman to do something. Batman said no, and then he dumped out the cure? Or Batman returned from the mission and he dumped out the cure before Batman could say anything? Did he give Batman a chance to speak? Or did he dump out and empty the cure before Batman had a chance to say anything? Like, what transpired? What were the chain of events that led to the fight? I'm just curious. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I just can't remember. Okay, so Freeze was the one that set it off? Okay. Alright. So Batman didn't even have an opportunity. So he came back, the cure was made, and then Freeze dumped it. Okay. Alright, alright. Whoop. Ouch. And I only have to get 3 stars to win? Whoop. Interesting. I mean, it did feel like animated series Freeze, though. Whoop. I win. So even if I break combo, I still win. Try to hit you? I am hitting you. Oh no! Was this endless or no? Alright, so I can just... I already won. I don't actually have to fight you guys, because I already won. Whoop. Okay, wait. I know. I just remembered something. I think I know how the whole, Okay, I'm gonna add some context, because I just recalled how Dini did everything. There was a setup. There was a reason why Freeze dumped out the cure. It was a callback to an earlier scene. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Batman took the vial out of Mr. Freeze's chest and he dumped some of it, did he not? So, it may be petty, but when Batman returned from accomplishing whatever task Mr. Freeze had him do, in retaliation from the previous events of their exchange, Freeze used a cure and broke it in front of Batman as revenge from the previous element of their, you know, Batman threatening Freeze and almost killing him. I think that's what the setup was. Yeah, Batman does have trust issues, but I think that Mr. Freeze was kind of petty. But I mean, if Freeze asked Batman and he said no for the wife, then that also gives Freeze excuse to break the vial, because he wants Batman to go save his wife. So everybody's kind of right in their analysis. Like, it does feel like Batman's, I wouldn't say mistake, but Batman's events of that night correlated to things not going the way they should with Mr. Freeze. Because Mr. Freeze was already, quote-unquote, heated. Batman also tossed his coolant back to him. Yeah, I mean, true. He doesn't mention his wife before breaking the cure. All right, so Daniel wrote a retelling of it. I want to see what Daniel said. He says, this is how it went. Freeze demanded Batman to bring him his wife. Batman said no. Freeze then broke the cure with his hand. Batman ignored the request and went after the cure. Freeze shot him. The fight ensues. Okay. MA has another transcript. Okay, so then MA, I'm going to use the reasoning that because Batman harmed Mr. Freeze before, and Mr. Freeze doesn't like Batman, and he's trying to get Batman to do what he wants, that's the reason why he breaks the cure. So Batman's earlier interaction with Freeze in the museum, where he took his coolant out of his body and was torturing Freeze, Freeze wanted to get back at Batman. Also, probably Freeze didn't think that Joker was going to steal the other cure, so he wanted to have a bargaining chip against Batman. Like, you know. But, of course, it didn't work out the way that either one of those guys wanted. Cause and effect. Alrighty. Well, that was fun. Alright, guys, this is how it's going to go. Tomorrow morning, over on the O1 channel, is the Battinson series. It begins. So, yeah, I hope you guys will look forward to that. I had a lot of fun doing that, and I hope you guys will enjoy that series. And it's called The Batman Arkham Knight, Episode 1 is how I did it, because literally I'm playing as The Batman. So, yeah. Batman tomorrow, Suicide Squad is over. So I hope you guys will support it. I hope my users over there will watch it, because I don't know. Battinson series, yep. My reasoning is because there's more players right now playing Arkham Knight than there are players playing the Suicide Squad, so maybe I can pick up new subscribers to that, as well as my brand of comedy and my bat lore and stuff like that. Who knows? You guys are very welcome. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that. I don't believe we did get a super chat, but we already hit over 1,000 views. We have 1,100 views, so we're good. Let's see what's going on tomorrow so far. Here's the tally. Final Fantasy, Road to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Part 7, Slums of Sector 6, is at 960 views. It only needs 70, 80, 90, 100. 40 more views, and you guys lock down another Final Fantasy stream. Ace Attorney fans, Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney Trilogy, Part 17. You have 940 views. You need 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So you need 60 more views. So, the good news is, those of you left on the stream, there's about 70 of you guys, like, migrate over to Final Fantasy or Ace Attorney. Both of those are locked in for tomorrow. Since Ace Attorney is the closest, or, sorry, not Ace Attorney. Since Final Fantasy is closest, I'm going to make a Final Fantasy thumb, like as a temp, and get that set up before I close the stream. And, yeah. That's my plan. And I don't know who I'm going to put on the thumbnail yet, but we'll figure it out. So, Aerith is going to go up temporarily because I don't have another thumbnail made yet. I will. I just don't have one currently. Because I'm going to need to go through and look and see what I'm going to make for my thumbnail. But Final Fantasy is happening because it's definitely going to get the views needed, which is awesome. I hope that we don't have to do like this view war with Final Fantasy Rebirth. I'm hoping that it will average like 1,000 views each episode or more. That would be fantastic because it's a new game. We are playing an older game. In fact, we've been playing a lot of older games this year to begin with, but I'm really, really, really hoping that it's going to work out well. Let's do this. This is part 8. Part 8. See, the great thing about being a gamer is you have so many variety of games to play. Like, I never wanted to make myself a niche channel because, like, as a gamer, it would drive me crazy. Because I have so many types of games I look at. I look at about 40 brand new games a year on this channel. I cover a lot of games. It's a part of who I am as a gamer. I can't just, like, be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to play the same game my whole life. I can't do that because I love all the creativity that's in video games. There's like so much of it, you know, that I just like to, you know, kind of just soak it all in, and I appreciate it so much. It's so much fun. I mean, the past couple years, gaming has gotten a little weird with some Western games, but for the most part, a lot of Japanese games are fine. Like, they're outside of some costume, we'll say, changes. They're pretty, you know, the story can't really be messed with, and things like that, so, which is good. And Japan is actually putting their foot down more now, so, yeah. So, don't be worried about the thumbnail. It's, basically just a temp anyway, because I'm going to make a proper one, because we'll be going to the wall market tomorrow, but I have it set up for the right one. So I'm going to give you guys a link to Final Fantasy because I want you guys to finish that one off because it's almost done. And I think you Arkham guys, you only have to watch for like maybe 6 minutes or so for it to count as a view. And you can really like push that. That way poor Drago won't have to rally the series by himself. Let's help Drago out, guys. Alright guys, go raid that. Have a fantastic night. If you could leave a comment on the Final Fantasy series, tell us your favorite Final Fantasy character. That would really help with the algorithm. And the 70 of you guys could push that video to get 1,000 views before like probably 2:30 in the morning. That'd be awesome. So you guys have another Arkham stream tomorrow. I might be playing Batgirl again, but I don't know what thumbnail I'm going to make because I've kind of run out of Arkham thumbnails for Batgirl. There wasn't that many to begin with. So, you guys will be redirected to the Final Fantasy stream. And then I'm probably going to make a new template for both Final Fantasy and for Ace Attorney. As well as I'm going to start editing my Arkham Knight series for the PS5. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, there's a YouTube short at 8 in the morning, too. So, on your way to work and school, don't forget. Peace.